everyone, welcome to Let's Talk Physical Media episode 15. If you can believe it, I'm John and this is Matt. And before we dive into this week's episode of Let's Talk Physical Media, if you are a fan of what we do here on the channel, including 4K Blu-ray reviews, movie reviews, tech and game reviews along the way, nothing would help us out more than by you liking this video and subscribing to the channel. So if you're new to this, we do this every single week. We sit here for about 45 minutes to an hour. We kind of just shoot the shit, cover some news topics, answer some of your questions, and plenty more throughout. So right off the top, we actually did get some news this week. Pretty good amount. First,
slipping my mind.
Well,
what are we talking about?
Well, we'll start off with Arrow's new releases for February 2023, and I am going to be 100% honest, disappointing.
Dazed and Confused, right? But we talked about this.
That's Criterion. I'm saying Arrow Video. Arrow. So they announced the first one, which is probably their biggest one. The Last Emperor, director of The Spider. I've never
Any connection to The Emperor's New Groove?
No, it's not. So I've heard of this film, never seen it. Arrow's doing that. That's their big one for this month, for February at least. And then the other one that they have, so I'm going to read them just all off to you. .com for Murder. Heard of that?
No.
No, me neither. Millionaires Express? How do you even pronounce this?
Millionaire?
.com for Murder. Is that what it is? The Millionaires Express?
That is the word millionaire, yep.
Okay, it was on the box.
What was the word you said?
I don't know what I said. But Millionaires? It was on the box. It was
Close.
It was distorted, so I couldn't
Good try.
And then The Vagrant, which I have heard. I've heard of The Vagrant, but it's a cult. It says it's a 90s cult classic, so I might check that one out, but I've never seen it. And then there's another Giallo Essentials, which is Italian Giallo films.
Yeah, not for me.
They have a bunch of those. I like Dario Argento's films, not gonna lie, but not every Giallo film. But if you're a fan of Giallo horror, they got more coming for you for February. And then the other big release from them is The Sisters Brothers. And this is a UK only release, which is disappointing, but it stars Joaquin Phoenix and John C. Reilly. They play two brothers, the Sisters Brothers, back in the Old West. And it's actually a really good Western, and I would love a 4K release of that, but it's only coming to the UK. I'm not sure if there's an American release, but it's only coming to the UK. But overall, those are some pretty disappointing releases again from Arrow.
Yeah, I have zero interest in any of those, so I will not be picking up any.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, Arrow, they've been real quiet, and then this is what they come out with.
I know. Well, we talked about their January ones being disappointing too, and now you got February being just as disappointing. I don't know what's going on. We haven't gotten like a real big name release from them in a long time.
Yeah, hopefully they're ramping up to something good. I
hope so, because last year, the beginning of the year is where they really shined, and then they tapered off, and I feel like they really just haven't recovered yet.
When was RoboCop?
RoboCop, that was one of our early reviews. I want to say early spring, like March, April.
The last thing from Arrow was what? True Romance? That was the last like notable.
Flatliners in August was pretty.
Okay.
That was a big one that I got. They released Videodrome and Wolf of Wall Street, but those are UK only releases, which we could get here. You know, we could play on my Region players here, but then we'd have to get a Region B player to play the Blu-rays, and it's like, is it worth it? Because I did get the Wolf of Wall Street 4K, and it's a good 4K.
Right, the Paramount one, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, yeah.
Yep. No, that.
So the Arrow one, it did look cool, but again, is it worth paying the extra $20-$30 just to have that, and then that Blu-ray disc is going to be locked to Region B? So it's like, you know what? We'll $12.99. We'll get the WB 4K.
Not a bad Black Friday deal, and overall Black Friday this year. What did you think about that?
So it's not that Black Friday was disappointing or didn't have bad sales. It was the sales have been going on for the past month almost. Like all these early Black Friday sales were the same sales we got on Black Friday. So I think, that initial, when the Black Friday first hit and I bought like 15 things, I would say yes, it has been a good Black Friday season. However, it just seems like it hasn't been, only because we've had these sales and we've gotten all that stuff ready. We were waiting for the next thing to go on sale. Like, I'm actually pretty disappointed. I really wanted Christmas Vacation and Christmas Story to go.
I expected those to be on sale.
I expected them to go on sale too. We still got Cyber Monday tomorrow to maybe clean up the rest of our stuff, because they do change some sales around then. But I've noticed since COVID, basically, Black Friday is not so much died, but it's really just moved to online.
Yeah.
Like, there's no more incentive to go into the store, and they start this stuff early. It's not day of, like, usually Thanksgiving, I remember rushing through Thanksgiving dinner and going out at like 6, 7 o'clock at night to get in line, or just some stores would open late Thanksgiving night, and just be open through all hours of the night. And that's what Black Friday was to me. But, I guess I don't really mind, because now it's not so hectic. We don't have to fight the crowd. We can just eat like a pig and lay on the couch and relax at home.
With your phone and just
with
pick
your phone and pick what you want. So, it's, again, not so much a disappointment. I think it's just we have to remember that these sales have been live for a while.
Yes, I agree. That was my biggest thing. I was hoping they would get new sales than the ones that we had. I was like, oh, maybe they'll throw some other stuff in the mix. We really expected the holiday films to go on sale. I saw that they released the Blu-rays on Amazon were on sale, but not the 4Ks.
Yeah, they're probably just a tad bit too new.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe they feel like people are going to buy these through Christmas. Maybe a week before Christmas, 2 weeks, they'll drop in price.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. I don't know. I still got my fingers crossed for a Cyber Monday sale,
It's
Even
possible.
if we can get these for $18.99, I'd be happy.
Because you got to grab a couple, and I want to grab Elf.
I want Christmas Story and Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, so it's really a tough call. Like a lot of I saw that Groove.com. I don't know if they had this sale.
I think they're $23, and then you get the 20% off. So
yeah, and then you also they're doing steelbooks on sale right now. Like you can get the 8 Mile 4K steelbook at a pretty good price.
I got the regular
Yeah.
slipcover edition.
I think the slipcover is a lot nicer actually for that one.
Yeah, again, not too impressed with steelbooks lately, except the Lionsgate ones with the slipcovers.
Yes, they've been and the Running Man one, which was amazing.
Running Man was awesome, yeah.
If they could just do what they did with the Running Man at all times, that is the most ideal version of a slipcover and a steelbook marriage made in heaven. The sales we noted in our Black Friday video all just
Nothing
they haven't
really
changed.
Yeah, so just again, maybe, tomorrow's Cyber Monday, so just keep an eye out if had your eye on and it didn't go on sale. There's some hope yet, because Cyber Monday is supposed to be the big online holiday. But I think that just kind of rolls into Black Friday now. But we'll see.
Yeah, we will. And one thing that we want to note as far as another new news cycle goes.
News.
So Matt sent me this, and I had never heard of this film, but it's coming to 4K February 21st from Kino Lorber's Studio Classics, Rawhead Rex.
What were you going to say with the P?
Pornhead Rex.
Close.
No, it's Rawhead Rex. Now, I've never heard of this film. It came out in 1986, it says.
Yeah, no, I never saw it, never heard of it. It's interesting. Kino Lorber doesn't really do too much horror.
No, is it horror, though?
It looks kind of horror-y. It's got a monster on it.
What the fuck is Rawhead Rex? Let's see.
Yeah, it's got like almost like a King Kong looking character, but just like a more ferocious
horror fantasy.
Horror fantasy. Yeah, the fantasy is the problem for me. I think.
It's got a solid, and I'm talking solid, on Rotten Tomatoes right now. 25%, and the audience score 38. That's pretty solid. So I mean, I don't know who was asking for this, but they're releasing it.
But hey, there's movies that have lower score that I enjoy.
It looks more like a Matt movie than anything.
And then there's movies like Company of Wolves that have a significantly higher score that I hate.
I don't know if you saw, but somebody commented explaining the movie to you yesterday.
I missed it.
Yeah, I answered them, but they were explaining exactly what the movie was like and the hints that they leave and everything like that.
So he liked it?
He liked it. The person that commented did like that. Because
I'll have to check out
there were people commenting that they do enjoy the Company of Wolves. Matt didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I was not too impressed.
Yeah, but we do try every movie on here, and I'm sure one of us will try Rawhead Rex, because I'm curious.
Yeah, that seems to kind of be the problem, like when you come to these movies that you don't have nostalgia for, that you've never seen, and we're watching it for the first time. It's sometimes they're a hard watch, they're hard to get into. And that was the case with Company of Wolves for me, I had no idea what it was. I had no idea what I was getting into. I read the synopsis. I was like, okay, so it's like Little Red Riding Hood, but for adults. And it was just a weird movie. Again, the set piecing was beautiful. I think like the backdrops and the stage they made, like the set stage they made was great. It's just the movie itself.
I want to actually check that out eventually because it does look like something cool, and like I do love the costume design and everything they went for with that. And
well, we have it right there.
Yeah, but that's going back.
You can still watch it before it goes back.
I could, but I'm not. I'm not in the mood to watch that. I don't know. It's not really. It definitely didn't look like something I would particularly enjoy. But you're more of the horror guy, and you like a lot of like, especially low budget horror movies. You find your way to them, and they seem to always work more for you than for me.
Yeah, but that one not so much.
No. But guys, good news. So we've been talking about MVD doing the Rain Man 4K and how it had no Dolby Vision and no HDR. Well, they listened. I'm going to read you directly what what MVD Rewind Collection wrote. He wrote, Rain Man update. I want to let you know that your comments have been heard. The MVD Marquee Collection 4K Ultra HD release of Rain Man is getting a 2023 makeover and will feature HDR/Dolby Vision. This might delay the release a couple of weeks after Thanksgiving. A couple of weeks. We'll know more after Thanksgiving. But we agreed with your comments, concerns, and are reviewing our release as a result. Thank you for your continued support and have a happy Thanksgiving.
So I like that. This happens a lot in the game industry where games get delayed. And some people are like, oh, I want the game. I hate delays. But you know what? We'd rather wait for a good game than rush out trash.
Because you guys we have to all look in the mirror on that, because we're the reason they rush them out, and then we're the reasons that they are upset, that they're mad.
You got the corporate bosses trying to make quotas for the quarterly fucking.
Yeah, that was the big thing with
sales.
Cyberpunk. They were more worried about money. But sometimes it's like we get on them like, oh, you delayed it again, and then when it comes out and the game is trash, it's like, you got mad when they delayed it. They delayed it for a reason.
Look what happened with Halo Infinite.
Yeah,
thing.
Should have been delayed another year,
Yep.
Unfortunately, because I think that game is dead now.
It's sad. It really is.
It is.
It was great from what we played, and it was a great story. The multiplayer was awesome. It just wasn't enough content. Wasn't enough there. There was no Forge. There was no co-op. It was hard, and I still don't think there's co-op.
No, there's not.
Actually, no.
Is there co-op now?
I think
I know
is.
Forge is back in,
Yeah.
but again,
It's getting better, but they need to add maps. They need to add game modes. They need to add events.
Stop releasing games that aren't finished. Like
Undercooked.
It's a real gaming world problem. Anyone who plays video games knows this, that when you get the game, that's not the same game it's going to be 3 months later.
Mm-hmm.
And you're spending $60 to $70 on these games, and for it to not be finished it's the most aggravating thing in the world to me. They rely way too much on digital downloads and everything like that. Like, that's why we're physical media guys, so we don't collect the games anymore, really.
And it's since the Xbox One, PS4 era, now the PS5, the Xbox Series X era, I can go pull a game off my shelf from a year ago, and that's not the same game that was from a year ago. It's so many patches and updates. Or I can go grab a game off my shelf, a Nintendo game from the 80s, and it's this fucking same game that came out day one. So, everything was finished. There was no updates. There was rarely some updates. They would put out a revised cartridge with some bug fixes here and there, but that was very, very rare. Now the games, everything is half-baked. Everything is not done. Way off topic, back to Rain Man. But this is the same thing. So fix it, do it right the first time, put out a finished product, a polished product.
Yes, I think it was originally supposed to come out in February. If they pushed that back to April, May to get the Dolby Vision and HDR right on that, I'd rather that 100%. Because just like with planes, trains, and automobiles, that came out. It got clearly, I believe they tried to rush that out for Thanksgiving. They put the Dolby Vision and HDR over it. They threw some DNR over it. And they didn't even go back to see how it looked. They just said, we got to get this out by Thanksgiving, no matter what. I don't care how it looks. And it shows. And most people gave that 4K a bad review because of how sloppy and how piss poor of a job they did on transferring one of the world's greatest films, many people's favorite films, one of my personal favorite. People love Rain Man. Rain Man is a Best Picture winner. If that would have came out in poor quality, you know how pissed people would have been? I would have been personally upset. And at least MVD listen to people, listen to the fans of the film, telling them, because we're one of those people hey, why aren't you putting Dolby Vision and HDR on this? That's one of the biggest selling points of the 4K format is HDR and Dolby Vision, because you can't get that on a Blu-ray disc. Mm-hmm. So an increased resolution is just not enough to really be a selling point on a disc. There are exceptions, but hopefully the people go in and do some color grading to at least make it worthwhile. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but It's just frustrating. As far as the video game thing goes, when a game came out in 2001, that was the game.
Right.
That's it. That's the same game right now. There is no difference to that game.
Yep.
That I don't know if it's because of the increase. Is it the internet? You think that like because we complain about every little flaw that they go in and fix it?
Well, that's part of it, but the internet also gave them the option to do this, where everything is connected. Like if you remember on Xbox 360, every time you put in a disc, you'd get a quick 2-second update.
Yes.
Right? Little patches here and there, but there wasn't gigabyte downloads. Like if you go buy a physical game right now, a quarter of that game is on the disc. You're basically buying a physical product key at this point, and that's why I almost kind of stopped collecting physical games as far as new stuff, because you're not really getting anything, you know? I mean, sure, you get the box art and you get the disc, but what's on that disc is, again, it's about a quarter of the game. And when you, for Xbox for instance, put a game in your console next time you get a brand new disc and tell me what it says. It's gonna say downloading 8 gigabytes off the disc and then 45 gigabytes from network. So it's crazy. You know, you're downloading the entire thing off the internet anyway. So do you buy the physical? I enjoy having the physical, sure, but at the end of the day, it's not really physical anymore. You're just buying a product key.
I think I'm hoping that what happens with movies actually kind of comes to video games, where they start to concentrate more on the physical collectors, like Criterion, Arrow, Scream, and now we're getting Vinegar Syndrome, 88 Films.
Well, there is a ton of...
Well, they do most of the controllers, but is there people releasing like special collector's editions of the games?
Yeah, limited runs, super rare games.
Okay.
For instance, Cuphead, we'll say, or... so like Xbox Live arcade games, or games that don't have any sort of physical release, like that Ninja Turtles game.
Yes.
No, they didn't have physical release. So now Limited Run Games takes that game and they press it on a disc and they put colorful instruction manual artwork and all of that.
Oh, really?
And actually it's Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft are actually the ones pressing the discs.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. They just started with Xbox stuff, but Limited Run's been primarily Nintendo and PlayStation. They just started doing some Xbox stuff, thank God. But the Limited Run's great. They're a little pricey. You're going to pay a little bit more, but you're getting a lot for it. You're getting a full color manual. You're getting all the artwork. A lot of them have reversible cover art. You're getting the entire full game on the disc, 0 internet downloads required, and it's great.
See, I didn't know that. I knew that like Hyperkin does the controllers, the special edition controllers.
Yes.
And they're actually the other ones doing the 360 controller, right?
I think it's Hyperkin.
Yeah, so like I knew they did those limited run controllers. I didn't know that they actually did those concentrated on the physical collectors of games, because...
Oh yeah, there's a ton. I have a bunch.
Yeah, because like I feel like that's what's really increasing the physical media market as far as films go, is the fact that they're really concentrating now on the collector. They throw a collector's edition on pretty much even studio releases now, like even like Notepad collector's edition on it. It's just, that's what they got to really concentrate on to really increase the market, is like make it worthwhile for the collector. Back when I was talking about Shamrock Balls in the comment section actually on last week's Let's Talk. You know, you used to go into somebody's house and everybody had a certain amount of movies on VHS or DVD that they always had. They maybe kept it under the like entertainment center. My house, like my mom had like a bin of all our VHSs. Everybody collected movies, even if it was like 10, 15. Now nobody does. Most people just have digital. They have their streaming services. Maybe they buy movies off of Amazon or Vudu or anything like that. Now, because not the regular consumer is buying physical media, you have to really corner the market of the collectors themselves, and hopefully that influences other people to start collecting.
Well, physical media is coming back in a big way.
Heroin is coming back in a big fucking way.
What?
It is, and they're really getting really good with some of these collector's editions. They're getting beautiful. I mean, this is for a later question, but Vinegar Syndrome, my God.
But they're also, we're paying a premium for these things.
Oh,
now,
we are.
too,
Vinegar
so.
Syndrome does not hold back. Because we're getting Roadhouse on 4K this week, and I just went on there to see, because Matt bought them, and I didn't know the price of these.
They're like $45.
$45. Now, if they look like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, okay, I see why it was $45, because you're really paying for that premium packaging and a good scan.
I think it's going to be in that neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah, but there are very limited runs, because, like, we talk about Arrow. Arrow has the RoboCops, and you said that's out of print.
No, it's not out of print.
The
It's just-
special edition.
The special editions are, yes. Those are limited editions in the big boxes with the artwork and all that stuff. But you can buy
Just the regular disc.
the disc by itself. Yeah.
Yeah, but like again, that's concentrating on the collector, and that's for us. That's the biggest thing is like making sure that the collector gets what they want. Do some alternate artwork. I love that Scream does the reversible slipcover when they decide to actually whip it out nowadays. That's all stuff to make the collector happy. And if video games can start doing that more, I know you just told me the limited run and stuff is doing that. I think that is going to actually increase the physical market for that because at least that way, because like Matt said, you're getting a shitty disc anyway that just has 8 gigabytes of a 45 gigabyte game. You know, it's disappointing. It almost serves no purpose. But if the box is nice, when you pull it off your shelf and you look at it, it might make it worth it a little bit more.
Yeah, and it's just nice display pieces.
Yeah, I personally like to walk up and down my rack and like just look at some of my favorite stuff and just hold it. You know, I don't know.
Can't do that with a Fire Stick or whatever the hell, Netflix.
And another thing we were talking about is like movie posters in general. Like movie posters used to be like you have them displayed all around your room.
Yep.
Movie posters are another form of art that it feels like they're just very generic now. Even like video game box art. It's not like how it used to be. You used to be able to walk by and you knew like, in my head, I could just still see Left 4 Dead on the shelves. And then Left 4 Dead 2. I don't know why. It just sticks out in my head.
Oh, yeah.
But like, you know, they really did concentrate on the art back then. And it feels like now everything's, because it's not the same scrolling through Netflix or Xbox Game Pass and like just seeing a little thumbnail. When you saw it physically on a shelf.
Yeah, because that was also a selling point because that's before the internet. So
Yes.
you would go into Blockbuster or GameStop and you're a little kid. You know, I'm 15-year-old Matt. He's in there. He's looking at the back of an Xbox 360 game. And you know nothing about it. Oh, cool cover art. Let me read the back. Oh, looks good. The screenshots look cool. All right, I'll try it out.
Yeah, and that was it.
That's the point of the art. It was to sell the game. Now it doesn't really have to. You can go on to IGN or just YouTube or the internet and you can find out everything about that game before you even bring it home. So,
yeah, most people get these games early for reviews, so you're always getting early reviews. I mean, back then, I got burned on a lot of games, on a lot of movies, just based on box art or Game Informer. Like, I would read Game Informer articles, like, and I would think, oh, that looks cool. I'll probably pick that up when it comes out.
Yep.
Like I would watch maybe like GameSpot or IGN would have some like, oh, a new gameplay video, and I'd watch that like when I was on the internet for like an hour or something like that because I didn't have phones, so I had to go to the computer and sit at the desk when one of my other siblings or my parents weren't using it.
Yeah.
So it was a different time, and again, like Matt said, the box art or the movie posters are what sold you on it. What?
I was just thinking of you when you were younger with the computer and the porn.
Oh my God, what do you mean with the porn?
What do you? You know what I mean?
You're such an
You're a big porn guy. I'm an animal.
Yeah. Are you telling me you don't watch porn?
I do, but I wouldn't. When we were hanging out, I wouldn't be like, I'll be right back and go watch porn.
I didn't do that.
You did.
No, I didn't.
100%.
I'm gonna deny it, I guess, because I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all.
Uncle V's gonna love this story.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Uncle V probably sitting there right now at his desk like, I don't see the problem with that.
I'll be right back.
He's like, what did you think I was doing? I have your window open here and I got porn over and over here.
So.
Wow, all right.
Yeah, the internet was a crazy place. I remember Uncle V showed me some crazy stuff.
Oh, dude, well, you remember when we were at work and some of the videos like that Doug would show us, like the internet. Yeah, you can go there. Obviously, everyone knows the internet. There is some scary. I don't remember. I remember the horse video.
Oh, the horse one. Yeah, when
Yeah.
the horse kills the guy.
Yeah, killed the guy.
That's bad.
Is that true though, or is that just a rumor? Because you remember when you
It
were in
might be true, yeah.
But you remember in school when people told you that Marilyn Manson cut out like his rib
Yes.
cage so he could blow himself?
Yeah.
That somehow spread around every single school and is 100% not true. Not true.
Sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. That's just because, again, before the internet, we had no way to fact check these people. Freaking Brian in my 7th grade class told me that, and I'm like, oh, shit, must be true. Let me go tell 7 other people.
Yeah, or you use the bunk beds.
Yeah.
Because you can put your feet on the top of the bunk bed.
Yeah, like, these are all things that just spread through elementary and middle school when we were in school because they just had no way to check on it. And then, like people like me and Matt, we didn't go to the same school. We tell each other. He tells people in his school, and it's just that's how things got around back then.
Yeah, it was a crazy place before the internet.
Yeah,
And then it's a crazy place with the internet. So.
Well, yeah, no, it's freaking
Probably
oh my God.
crazier.
It's definitely crazy.
There's
right
some
now.
wild stuff on the internet.
I don't even go around checking. I'm sure that it's fucking bad.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
And yes, anyway, we got a little bit off topic there. I think actually we did cover all the news as far as news.
it's all the
goes.
news.
I don't think there is any more news. I will do a quick check, but yeah, I think that was all the news.
Give it up for John for bringing the news.
Yeah, I came in with the news, and yeah, I was a little bit surprised. It was a pretty good amount. New Kino Lorber announcements, new Arrow announcements.
I keep getting so I have notifications on Twitter for like Dawn of the Discs or something.
Yes, I have Dawn of the Discs.
But it's just like some weird stuff that probably isn't even like.
Well, they also Dawn of the Disc and the Disc Father on Instagram. Like sometimes they put out like.
Well, I keep getting new title announcements, or even from Shout Factory and stuff.
Shout Factory doesn't do like what Arrow does or Criterion, where they put like a video out or like they announce them all in one shot. Shout and Scream kind of seem like they just kind
They'll
of
just trickle it in.
yeah, whenever they feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't actually done a little bit in a while, so we'll probably get more from them soon as far as that. But you know, that's what I want to talk about. Vinegar Syndrome. They announced coming to 4K this movie called Freeway, which I have never seen before, and you've never seen before, from 1996. And the synopsis for this film actually sounds really cool. It's about supposedly it's like another spin on Little Red Riding Hood, which is weird because you just watched Company of Wolves. And I've never seen this movie, either of you.
Yeah, you described the plot. I said, "Are you reading the Company of Wolves?" Because it sounds like that.
Yeah, it's about a girl who gets picked up, and apparently this guy is the I-95 serial killer. So apparently he's just going up and down I-95, kidnapping young girls and killing them, and that's what the story of this movie is about. Now, I don't know if it's good or not, but the reviews are pretty decent for it, and I think I might check it out. I saw a lot of people really excited about this on Twitter. And Vinegar Syndrome, that looks like it's another one of those classic Vinegar Syndrome boxes, so I think I might review it.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, because I don't know how you feel about it. Have you gotten burned by Little Red Riding Hood a little too much this week?
Yeah, I'm good on that for now. I don't need another telling of that. Q&A.
All right, guys, we're going to dive into the Q&A portion of this video. And actually, we only have two questions this week, and one of them is from one of our favorite uncles. That would be Uncle V. And he said, I don't know if you've covered this before, but if one is in the market for a new Blu-ray player, I'm currently using a Panasonic from 2013.
Oh, this is a serious question.
Yeah, it is, which is
I gotta
weird.
change gears.
Yeah.
I was ready for...
What would you recommend? What is your preferred setup? Thank you, gentlemen, and as always, happy Thanksgiving. It is funny with Uncle V. I read that 3 times thinking, where's the joke in here?
Yeah. So it's a serious question. I'm assuming you have a 4K TV, and the only player I'm going to say is the Panasonic UB820 or UBK 820. I think it's on sale right now for $399, $400. It's originally a $500 player. It's by far the best 4K player out there right now. That's what I have. That's what I run, and the upscaling is fantastic. The amount of options in this menu system is unbelievable. You can select so many different things. It's got it's got unbelievable capability of upscaling regular Blu-rays, plays the 4Ks phenomenally. You could adjust all your the nit rating, not the nit rating, again, this is where I get a little confused and my knowledge runs out, but there's something with like the 444 chroma and the 420 or 422. I don't know what those numbers mean, but I know you should be running in 444 and then 12-bit. So like Dolby Vision runs in 12-bit, and if I hit select on my remote and I display the options, so it'll show you what the disc is presenting and then what the HDMI is putting out, and it's a one-for-one comparison with this player. So it is playing these discs at their full capability, where some players don't quite have the horsepower for that.
And actually, this is something that actually happened to me this week. So I have what Matt used to have. We have reviews for both of these on the channel. I had the Sony X800, which is a step above from the Sony X700 4K Blu-ray player. And I had an issue where I put Rollerball in, and my screen just started lighting up, rainbow colors. It couldn't display anything, but I could hear everything fine through my, my sound system. And I'm like, okay. So I took the disc out, put it back in, and did it again. then I was like, maybe the disc is fucked up because the menu was working just fine. So I took it into my office and I put it in my Xbox in there. Played the disc just fine. Brought it back out to the living room, same exact problem, but this time my 4K player wouldn't turn off, nothing worked. The button just bricked the entire thing. I unplugged it for a minute, left it alone, plugged it back in, and it did fine, but reading the disc, it seemed like it was really like struggling to read the disc, and this was a 100 gigabyte 4K disc, and I think that this 4K player, my Sony 4K player, has a real hard time with 100 gigabyte discs.
It does. That was a big complaint with that. And I had like, I went to watch Kill Bill and it bricked that Sony also. I was unwatchable on there. And then it works fine in the Panasonic, worked fine in the Xbox. So I didn't like the Sony. Stay away from the Sony players. They're decent budget ones, but if money's not an object and you want the best of the best, go with that Panasonic UB820 because it is phenomenal. I absolutely love this player. I want to buy another one just to have, so if this one ever goes, I have a backup because I don't know if there's going to be more 4K players in the future.
Well, that's the thing. Samsung stopped making 4K players, so like.
Well, we don't need that one anyway. The Panasonic one is by far the best.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, no, I want to get a backup 4K player too, but I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with my Sony now. After seeing that, and there's going to be more 100 gigabyte discs coming out. I don't want to have my, I don't want it to happen again. So I might return that and get the one Matt has, or maybe I'll try out a new 4K player like one of the LG ones. I'm not too sure.
I wouldn't go with the LGs either.
No?
They're all cheaper.
Which is weird because
go with the Panasonic, trust me.
Yeah, so that's the recommendation. And you said you had a Panasonic from 2013, so you know what?
Check out the UB820 Panasonic.
Yeah, we have a full review actually, Uncle V, if you want to check that out. Matt really broke down how to set it up and just everything. He really did a good job on it actually. And we have the comparisons with that. The Sony is just, the Sony, I love the Sony. I'm really happy with it, but that was scary.
It's a great budget player for sure, but the forced Dolby Vision in it was really what pissed me off.
Yeah, but you can turn off.
The Panasonic, well, you can, but then you don't have Dolby Vision.
You have to alternate the disc if you got to read the back of the box. I mean,
right,
you got to do a little.
Wants to do that? I put the disc in and it plays what it should play.
It should do that. That is a pretty dumb feature that it forces it, but there is a workaround, so you don't have to do that. Yeah, my biggest concern is the freezing issue on 100 gigabyte discs because 4Ks.
I had freezing issues as well with mine.
So. Yeah, so I don't know. It was the first time I had an issue.
Out of here.
Yeah, I get it. So obviously, from us, the Panasonic is the way to go, Mr. V. We appreciate you as always, and you are our favorite uncle. And now let's move on to the last question from Kevin L., who asks questions a lot, which we really appreciate, Kevin. Thank you so much. And he's just said, what are your favorite slip covers from 2022? Well, I can tell you guys right now, right off the bat, my number one, I think it might be Matt's number one also.
I have all of these, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. Matt got to do the review for this, and I feel like he did a good job, but he didn't like the transfer as much as I did. The transfer of the disc itself, I thought was beautiful. I think it's one of the best 4K transfers of the year. I get what you're saying.
Well, okay, so this circles back to the player itself, because the upscalability of that player, I have the Scream Factory Blu-ray and this version, and there wasn't a huge jump, but again, that player upscales Blu-ray so beautifully. Half the time, I don't see a big difference between the Blu-ray and the 4K sometimes. And, I mean, is it a problem? No, I don't think so, because it makes everything look that much better. I mean, I have it paired with an OLED TV, and it looks great.
No, it does. I thought it looked awesome. And then this one, because you get, first of all, I don't know if you even count this as a slip cover. It's more of like the sliding cover, but let's just take that out of the mix and just look at the slip cover that's underneath that. Mm-hmm. And this is beautiful. You get the Breakfast Club, their spoof of the Breakfast Club movie poster on the front, and then on the back you get the chainsaw, but it's hard to tell on the camera, but the chainsaw part is actually shiny. It's got more of a glossy finish over a matte finish. So it's like alternating almost. And you get the raised Texas Chainsaw font here. And this is thick. This is thick as a dick. This thing is nice. This is a really good, if you didn't even have this extra slip cover or sliding case, you wouldn't even need it because this slip cover alone is awesome. This is just a bonus. I truly believe that this is the best slip cover of 2022. Easily. I mean, this is premium packaging. This is easily one of my favorite pieces on my shelf altogether. In the movie, it's the best Texas Chainsaw movie in my opinion. I know Matt said it's one of his least favorite, but for me, I think that's number one.
So this one might be a bit of a cheat, but the Halloween 4K collection 9502 comes with 3 slipcovers in there, and these are all the hard case covers from Scream Factory. So you have The Curse of Michael Myers, H2O, and Resurrection, which is one of my personal favorites. And, these are the hardcover ones, and then once you pop them open, you have the alternate cover art because these were all switchable. And, I just love the Halloween movies, and they kept the same theme from all the other 5 releases that they did, the previous releases of the Halloweens, with the leaves and the kind of Michael's front and center, and they have some stuff from the movie in the background. But these are really nice. I know a lot of people didn't like this slip box that it came in. I don't hate it, but on my shelf I actually keep it backwards so you see the spines of the movies versus the just Halloween 4K collection. So I keep it like that so it stays in line with the rest of them. But I really, I think this is one of my favorites. The movies aren't great, and I thought the price was a bit high on this set. But as far as slipcovers go, I like the slipcovers.
One big one that me and Matt both like, and we both have, I think you actually said that this was your favorite steelbook of all time, and that's the Cabin in the Woods Lionsgate steel cover. So this isn't a new 4K release, but they released this slipcover steelbook version this year, and I think it is phenomenal. I love what Lionsgate is doing with these slipcovers and their steelbooks, because it really plays a part into the movie. You have to actually understand the movie to understand the whole box and slipcover design. And you slide it back on, and it looks perfect. I think that this is the best of the Lionsgate ones from this year. I'm not too sure if the T2 one came out this year. I think that was last year around.
T2 is a good one.
That's a good one, but then you also had Angel Heart had another one that's just like this, and Moonfall.
Universal Soldier was a good one.
Universal Soldier, but they all do the same exact design. But I think the Cabin in the Woods is the best of the best as far as these steelbook slipcover designs.
So Running Man 4K. This is just an amazing. This should be the norm, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
We have a proper slip cover, right? You got all your information, the pictures on the back, all your runtime and cast and all that stuff, and then we have a steelbook on the inside with beautiful art on it. By the way, the colors pop. If you see in the movie, it makes more sense. And then there's even artwork on the inside of the steelbook. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like this is not even like a.
It's Paramount.
Paramount did this. Yeah, this is not even like a boutique label. This should be the norm, okay? If all steelbooks did this, I would buy steelbooks of every single release because I love the slipcovers. I love all the information on it. I hate, like, if this was just the slip, if it was this or a slipcover version, I'd go for the slipcover. But if you're gonna put that steelbook in the slipcover, fuck yeah,
Yeah.
Because 90% of the time, the same slipcover is what's on the inside art.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, give me the steelbook. I'll take that.
That is really the best of both worlds. I agree with Matt 100%. That should be just the new norm for steelbooks in general, just because you get the stats on it. You lose that with the steelbook. They don't even put a slip in there or nothing, and it's unfortunate. And this, I don't know why this isn't the norm, but I really hope people follow Paramount's lead on this. Even though Paramount did a piss poor job of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles between this and Top Gun Maverick, they were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, no, I think Paramount's doing pretty well, aside for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Although I heard that they did Saturday Night Fever, too.
All right, so quick question. How do you feel about that Planes, Trains, and Automobiles Blu-ray?
The Blu-ray, the one that came in there? Or like the regular Blu-ray?
The one I have.
I like that Blu-ray.
Okay, because I thought it looked fine.
It does. Listen, it's not going to blow you away. It's a little flat in parts. There was room to make a nice 4K out of it, but that is fine. That is the version I'll be watching.
But again, that comes back to my 4K player again. That it just upscales like a beast.
Well, when I was watching them side by side to do the review, I was going scene to scene, and it's just that 4K is just really poor. And like the colors are better on the Blu-ray. Now there are scenes where the 4K it popped in certain scenes, like because of the resolution increase, but it never did anything to make the colors look better. It just made things pop a little bit more. In fact, it made the colors look worse. I think the Blu-ray is the better version, so it's disappointing that happened. And then another Vinegar Syndrome. This is just a regular slipcover without that sliding case. But again, another really nice slipcover, really thick paper stock on here. Again, with the same exact thing where it's got like the raised font over a matte finish, glossy back, which is really nice. It says Get Out right there in really like a glossy font. You can only like twist it a certain way. And this was another really good 4K release. I really think that Vinegar Syndrome, we're going to have like an awards kind of show towards the end, but I really think that they're like the breakout boutique label of the year because I never heard of them till this year, and now I'm going to have 3 of their releases on my shelf, and Matt has Cloak and Dagger, which is one of the best that you can get.
Yeah, that's a super nice set from them also. Now, another one of my favorite steelbooks or slipcovers, this is another Paramount. This is going to be Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
I didn't realize that had a slipcover on it.
Yeah, so there's your Sega Genesis game of Sonic 2. There is the movie. Now, pretty similar. Almost identical, really. You know, and I appreciate that. I'm a Sega kid, and I love Sonic. And what they did with this really is pulling on my heartstrings right here. I think they nailed this. So now, once you pop the slipcover off, you lose that Sega like black and gray checker on it, and then you have your basic steelbook, and then it's just the same thing on the back. So it's not a crazy slipcover, but it adds to it. And then once you pop the steelbook, has really nice artwork, but maybe just because I really like Sonic, I don't know. And then on the back you got Sonic and Knuckles. So this movie was awesome. You pop it open, and there's actually some artwork in there, or some, not artwork, but some ads pushing all the new Sega Sonic games, or remakes, I should say.
Did we just get a new Sonic game that just came out?
Sonic Frontiers, yeah. I'm excited to check that out. I think I'm gonna get that.
Who was it on Kind of Funny? Who's really excited for that?
Blessing. Probably.
Blessing, yeah. He's been talking about games daily.
Yeah. So Sonic, awesome, especially just because they basically took the Sega Genesis design, and they used it, and that was if they didn't do that, I would have been upset. Like, they nailed it.
Yeah, they did amazing work. They really did. I'm actually blown away by that. And you're right though. Like, the slipcover just adds to making it look like that checkered padding
and again,
box.
If you haven't seen these Sonic movies,
surprisingly good.
Surprisingly amazing. Actually, I was like, how are you going to make a Sonic the Hedgehog movie? And I watched the first. I came to the first one late. I was very late to the party, and I was like, I was upset that they chose Jim Carrey not because I don't like Jim Carrey. I wanted somebody like Danny DeVito. So because I like my characters, like live action stuff, to be as close as in resemblance to the actual cartoon characters. So Robotnik is a short, fat guy. Jim Carrey is a tall, lanky guy, and Jim Carrey fucking nailed it. Jim Carrey is an awesome Dr. Robotnik. Yeah. I think he was perfect for that role. I'm so glad they chose him, and that's why I don't make movies, because I would have probably chose somebody else that wouldn't have been as good, but might have looked like him more.
Probably look more like Dr. Robotnik than freaking Jim Carrey does.
Not true.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
We shave my head.
Yeah, maybe. But, awesome. Yeah. Definitely check out the Sonic movies. They are great.
And you got one more steelbook you wanted to show.
I have one more steelbook. This is early this year, and this is Moonfall.
That's one of those Lionsgate ones, right?
Yep. This is a Lionsgate steelbook. So you have the moon on there, and then it slides off, and it's almost the same thing, but it's just a damaged moon, where
it's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool the way they did it, and then the same thing on the back. You have all your information still, and then when you slide it up, you have the blown up planet. So I think actually if you open this up this way, you have...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's actually cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's really making good use of the space on the box.
Right, yeah. And then you have some cover art on the inside. There's some disc art. Yeah, so this was another good one. I really like this one. Moonfall, awesome movie. I like these disaster type movies.
Roland Emmerich films.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of these, and this is like a reference quality audio Atmos track. This is a good one. So if you want to test out your Atmos system, check out Moonfall. If you're into these movies, check out Moonfall, because Moonfall was fucking awesome.
I actually usually do like disaster movies. Maybe I will try that. Is it on sale right now for Black Black Friday?
Could be.
I'll give it a whirl. I'll give it a check out.
Moonfall is fantastic.
That is going to do it for us on another episode of Let's Talk Physical Media. If you guys want to ask questions for next week's episode of Let's Talk Physical Media, make sure you leave that in the comment section below. We're only going to have 2 4K reviews for you guys this week. We're going to have High Plains Drifter and Roadhouse. And then we'll just have a couple other videos sprinkled in here and there. But guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell all your friends.